Hey everyone, welcome to Brew Builds. What is one of the things in our house that we use every day that is vital to our health? The water we drink. Because of this, I'll be replacing an old reverse osmosis water system with a new system from Century H2O. I'll explain why you should filter your drinking water, the benefits of the Century H2O system, and show you just how simple it is to install. You ready? Let's do this. I was just about to order some new filters for the RO system that we've been using at our house for years when my wife mentions that she heard about a new water treatment system by Sentry. We looked into it, did some research, and we liked what we were reading. But before I get into the benefits of the Sentry system, let's talk about why we should filter our tap water at home. Municipal water supplies are treated to meet federal standards, but these standards may not keep up with newer forever chemicals, pharmaceutical residue, or microplastics. Even if your tap water is legally safe, that doesn't mean it's free of contaminants. If you go to the ewg.org website, you can search by zip code and get a water quality report on the municipal water supply in your area. It shows the different chemicals and the amount found that is in our water. Looking at some of the numbers, arsenic is at 1.57 parts per billion. EWG's guideline is 0.004 parts per billion, which makes it 392 times higher than their recommended amount. Reverse osmosis systems have been out for a while, and we've been using one for a few years. And while RO does a decent job filtering out contaminants, it does come with two big drawbacks. For one, RO wastes a lot of water. Depending on the system, it can use 2 to 5 gallons just to make 1 gallon of clean water. I was always wondering why I was hearing water trickling down the kitchen sink. That's just precious water and money going down the drain. The other issue, while this does a good job at filtering out chemicals, it also removes essential minerals that the body needs. The Century Wellness system removes harmful toxins, but also enriches your water with essential minerals. Speaking of enriching, we all know that bottled water can contain nanoplastics. That's the type of enriching you don't want to have. Those are just two of the reasons why we're switching to the Century H2O water treatment system. It doesn't waste water, and it doesn't just filter. It adds back in essential minerals, creating a pH-balanced water. I do a lot of endurance mountain biking. I'm wondering if the added minerals will help with the leg cramps I get on long rides. You can find more information on the Century H2O website. They are a family-owned business out of Arizona, offering whole house systems, under-sink water treatment, and shower filters. I'll add a link in the description below. Installation looks super easy on this compared to the RO system. It doesn't have a tank, and there's no wastewater line that you have to connect into your drain. With this one, there's just 2 hoses. There are a few different options in ordering depending on how you will end up using the Sentry system. You need to decide if you're connecting to the kitchen faucet or using a separate drinking water faucet. The basic difference is the tubing size. Drinking water systems use 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch push to connect tubing, while a kitchen faucet will use a 3/8 inch hose with a nut. We ordered our kit with a 3/8 inch tubing. Even though we're replacing an RO system with a 1/4 inch tubing, we do have a kitchen remodeling plan in the works, and I thought 3/8 inch would give me more options moving forward. Also, it's very easy to convert 3/8 into 1/4 inch by just using a simple adapter that I'll be using to connect this into the 1/4 inch line. The people at Century were happy to help us with any questions we had and our specific needs. If you're doing a new install compared to a replacement, you will need to add a small shutoff valve like this one to connect the system to. I already have one installed, but I'm going to replace the existing valve with this new one that they sent me. Then I can disconnect the old RO system, get all this stuff out of here. Then I'll mount the Sentry bracket inside the cabinet, attach the in and out tubing, and then I can add in the filters. Shut the cold water valve off first. I'll remove the RO system to create more working room, then replace this valve. This RO system, as well as the Sentry, uses the push-to-connect type water fittings. To remove a hose, you push down on the collar and pull out the hose. You may need to use a 1/4 inch open-end wrench to push down on the collar evenly. So much more space. Now I'll replace the small shutoff valve. I'll remove the hose for the kitchen faucet, then take off the valve. You may need to use 2 wrenches, one to hold the valve and the other to loosen the nut. Next, remove the 1/4 inch line from the small valve. Then unscrew the old valve and replace it with a new one. These have rubber washers, so they just need to be snug to create a seal. Attach the faucet hose, tightening it with a wrench. I'll use a new piece of the 1/4 inch tubing. These are just the push-in type water connectors, so you just push it in and it seals. I just need to add the T back in for the water line to the fridge. We purchased a new drinking water faucet. The old one was getting corroded and looking kind of gross. This came with different adapters that screw on the bottom depending on what type of tubing you are using. The old one was a pain to remove and took the most time. Having to get your arm up under the sink and loosening a bolt was kind of difficult. This new one is simple to install. There's a flange that goes on top of the sink. On the underside, a rubber washer, a metal washer, then the large plastic nut that tightens the faucet to the sink. It helps if you have someone hold the faucet while you're trying to tighten the nut under the sink. Once the faucet is tight, add the adapter to the bottom. We are using a 3/8 inch push-to-connect type. This has a rubber washer, so you don't need to use Teflon tape. I was able to use one of the existing screws from the RO bracket and just need to move the other screw over. Mount the bracket in a place that has plenty of space underneath for replacing the filters. This is the output side of the system. I'll push in the hose that is already connected to the faucet. The input hose goes on the other side. I added in the 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch adapter, which is after the T for the fridge and the shutoff valve. This is filter 1 and it goes on the left side. Make sure the washer is installed correctly in the filter housing. Place the filter inside the housing and screw it onto the bracket. Hand tighten, then give a little turn with the supplied filter housing wrench. These filters will need to be replaced about every 12 months. The RO system filters, 2 needed to be replaced at 6 months, 1 at 1 year, and 1 at 2 years. So the Century filters are simpler and cheaper, which costs about 1/3 of the price of a new system. This is why we wanted to install the new system now and not purchase a new set of RO filters. Cost-wise, any water filtration system can seem pricey, but if you add up the cost of bottled water, using 3 to 4 gallons a week, you can have a system like this paid for in a few months. Plus, you're keeping all that plastic from going somewhere. Between our morning tea, coffee, iced tea, and the water we drink, we use around 1 gallon a day. So for us, we are saving money and drinking healthier water. This was easy to do, other than having to remove the old faucet, which was kind of a pain. I think anybody can do this and you shouldn't have to hire a plumber. There's no weird tools required, well, other than this unique one that came with a system for loosening and tightening the housings that hold the filters in place. So I'm going to store this right on top of the unit so I don't lose it. If I didn't replace the drinking faucet, I think this would have been about a 5-minute job. Time for the taste test. You do need to run the water for about 5 minutes after installing to flesh out the system. You can fill up some jugs and use the water in your garden so it's not just wasted. A big difference I'm noticing right away, because this doesn't use a tank, the pressure isn't dropping as it fills a large bottle. Time to fill a glass and find out how it tastes. I'll compare it to some water straight out of the tap. Let's see if I can taste the difference. This is the Century and the tap water. The Century does taste cleaner, and it's nice to know that I'm drinking some water that is healthier for me. If you're thinking about purchasing or upgrading your home water filter, I recommend checking out the Century H2O system. Leave a comment below if you have any questions about the system or the install. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to Brew Builds, and be sure to check out my other DIY home improvement videos. And I'll see you on the next one. Actually, I won't see you, you'll see me, but I don't really get to see you.